Hello everybody, my name is Sniping is Fun, and welcome you all back to my next The 5 list. We're sent to all of you here on YouTube, and today's list is going to relate to video games in 2018, and which games I think you all should be looking forward to and keeping your eye on. Gaming in 2017 has been pretty freaking good. We've gotten a lot of great games this year. It came and went, and 2017 has been a pretty freaking good year. Persona 5, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Doom and Wolfenstein, and stuff like that. Doom on the Switch and Wolfenstein 2 and everything. It's been a pretty good year, but 2018 is kind of picking up to probably be better, and there are a lot of games that either we know for sure coming within the first couple of months, like January, February, March, or there's games that are announced but no dates, and there's also games that are announced but we don't even know for sure if they're coming out next year, like Metroid Prime 4, Kingdom Hearts 3, Square, where is it? Come on! And stuff that we just know it's coming, but we don't know a single thing about it, like a title, or haven't seen any footage of it, and stuff like that. So yeah, 2018 could very well be a good year, and I wanted to do this video looking at 5 games I personally think that all gamers should keep their eye on for one reason or another. I'm going to say 2 things before I do this list. One, I'm not trying to go for the most super popular, big-time games that everyone would want to play. Not saying these games aren't big, not saying they're not going to be huge, but I'm not going for like Far Cry 5 or Red Dead 2 or something that's like the big games. I'm trying to go for games like you should keep your eye on. They might be hidden gems. They might not be the biggest, most popular, mainstream AAA games in the world. They might be, or they might fit somewhere in the middle. But there's something I feel that someone should look forward to, and everyone's going to look for Far Cry and Red Dead and the next, Pokemon game and everything. So I'm not going to pick those for this list. Second, I want to pick games that we at least know something about. So I'm not going to pick games that we don't even know a title for yet, or haven't seen footage for yet. So on the topic of Pokemon, there's no Pokemon Switch game I'm going to mention in this. I'm not going to mention Fire Emblem 16, the Switch game coming out. I'm not going to mention games that we haven't seen anything really of yet, or so on and so forth. We know games that we at least know a name and hopefully some footage, and we know something about. And that is this list. My 5 games that you should be looking forward to and should look up and keep your eye on for 2018. Let me get started with Spider-Man PS4. This game looks like it's going to be pretty cool. Spider-Man games have always been pretty freaking cool. Like a lot of the ones from like the Super Nintendo, the PlayStation 1, all of them have been fun, regardless if they're based off a movie or they're just like an original story / comic book thing. But Spider-Man games tend to be fun. So Spider-Man 3, and some other stuff too. But it's like, Spider-Man is a cool superhero, swings around the city and does all like this stuff. I know this might be probably one of the biggest, more Western mainstream games I put on this list. But at the same time, I put it on here because like Spider-Man has had a hit and miss situation in his games. Some are good, some are meh, some are bad, whatever. But I'm doing it like this because this seems like be the next evolution of the game everyone loves from Spider-Man. That's Spider-Man 2, based off the movie with Tobey Maguire and everything. That was probably that and Ultimate Spider-Man, the one that was based off the comics, are probably some of the best in recent memory Spider-Man games, besides maybe like Web of Shadow and stuff like that, Friend or Foe or some other of the recent games. He's had good games on PS3 and 360 and Wii and whatnot. But last time he was really super relevant in terms of video games of his own was probably like the PS2, GameCube, Xbox, like Ultimate Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2. And this looks like to be the next evolution of that. Super open world city, you're Spider-Man, you're going around saving the world. They're going to throw in villains from like all over the comics. It's not based off a movie. It's just its own original Spider-Man entity. And it's probably be one of the biggest games for the PS4 in 2018. If you're a fan of Spider-Man, you should look forward to this. If you enjoyed stuff like Ultimate Spider-Man or Spider-Man 2, you should look forward to this because I feel this is going to be the next, the next version of that, like the big open world, awesome Spider-Man game that everyone's wanted to see for a long, long time. And that's the reason why it's the first one on my list today. It's something everyone should be looking forward to, especially if you're a Spider-Man fan. If you like open world games, you like superhero games, you like good combat fighting type games, it's probably going to be pretty cool. You want to see all the cool characters from the Spider-Man universe. This game is something for you guys to look forward to. That's my first one. My second one goes to a sequel to a game that, quite frankly, I never thought I'd see a sequel to. And I don't know for sure if it's fully coming out next year or not. I'm hoping it is. We at least seen some footage of it. So developers talking about it. We have the title, which just has a 2 at the end of it. And it's based off a cool Tim Schafer game that is become a very big cult classic from the PS2 and Xbox era, from the 6th generation of gaming. And that goes to Psychonauts 2. For those of you that know Psychonauts 2, it's a action platforming type game. Cool characters based off like I forgot, telekinesis and stuff going into people's minds and everything. From the creative mind of Tim Schafer, if you don't know who that is, he basically made stuff like Brutal Legend, Psychonauts, and Grim Fandango and stuff like that. He's made some really cool games with really cool characters over the years, whether on the computer or in consoles and stuff. And this game has become a cult classic from the PS2 and Xbox days, and it was a cool platforming game with some cool characters and designs and elements of like going into people's minds and doing all that stuff. It was such a cool game, and I never actually thought they would even make a sequel to it, and they finally decided to. I never beat the original, though. I never got around to beating it because I only rented it once. But it was such a cool experience, and it has cool, colorful worlds and characters, and it's such a vibrant world that is so much different than you see in a lot of different video games nowadays, especially with the fact that a lot of game companies are trying to make super like mature gun-based and like serious games. Like this was just fun. It had nice comedy. It had cool characters and development and the story and everything from what I remember. It was just a fun game. And if they can make this game better than the original, it is worth it every cent that you pay on it. So quite frankly, if you haven't played the first Psychonauts, I strongly recommend you find a way to play it and get ready for this. My third game on the list goes to yet another sequel from a game, this time not as old as Psychonauts, a game that's relevant to at least the last couple years on the PS3, and it is an RPG series based off character designs and creators and stuff from Studio Ghibli. If you guys don't know who that is, I feel sad for you. It's one of the biggest anime companies in the world, and even if you're not an anime fan, you probably come across Studio Ghibli movies like Princess Mononoke and Spirited Away in your lifetime, and that is, and everyone knows it if you guys know the game, Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom. The first Ni no Kuni was like if you took a Ghibli movie and made it into an RPG. You basically play as like this kid going to search for his mother, going to this world with all these wacky monsters. He teams up with some people to help him, and he controls monsters like kind of like a Pokemon type thing. An awesome RPG, cel-shaded, cool gameplay, differentiating itself from stuff like the Tales series and Kingdom Hearts and Persona and Final Fantasy and all the other JRPGs from the time. Ni no Kuni was a colorful, super anime world type game. Didn't really play too much of it yet. I have it. But I love Studio Ghibli and I love RPGs, so those two merging together years ago when they made that game was pretty freaking awesome. And they're making a sequel to it for the PS4, even better. So if you like Studio Ghibli, if you like RPGs, especially JRPGs, classic style JRPGs type stuff with some ins and outs of original creative stuff, I would strongly recommend you look forward to this because it looks like it's going to be a fun ride and a fun game to play. My fourth one goes out to all the Castlevania fans in the world. You guys must be feeling very, very down on your luck now because Konami continues to be stupid and not do anything Castlevania related since Lords of Shadow came out and failed, and they pretty much killed off the original timeline and everything. But this game is made by the original creator of Castlevania, and that goes to Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. It's going to basically be, it's from the original creator of Castlevania. He's making a new game based off new characters, basically in the Metroidvania style, for those of you that don't. It's basically going around the map and collect stuff and level up, and it's an open world type thing. If you ever play a Metroid game, it's like you always go back and forth between places. It has this cool gothic style, super gothic anime, cool style of evil monsters you fight, and just like if you've played any of the more recent Castlevania games, I'm saying it doesn't count for like the Castlevania games from the NES and whatnot, but if you played any of the Game Boy Advance games or the DS games or the PS2 games, you'll really get into this. It has a cool art style, cool characters, nice dark, gothic style to it with all the monsters you fight and RPG elements you get, and it's just a really cool game. And it's just, if you're a Castlevania fan, you're gonna want to play this because I'm super looking forward to this because I'm not as old school of a Castlevania fan as a lot of gamers out there are, and I'm not as nostalgic for it as a lot of gamers that grew up on the NES because I obviously wasn't around for the NES, and I didn't really get into the NES games until long, maybe getting older, because I grew up with the Super Nintendo and everything. So I didn't really get into Castlevania games until later, but I love the Castlevania series. I want to see more of it, and Konami continues to be stupid and obsessed with pachinko machines and not using any of their franchises, so it's like Castlevania is probably dead at this point. And Bloodstained is going to be like the return to that. Hopefully this is to Castlevania what Mighty Number 9 is not to Mega Man. And my fifth one and final one on this list goes to an RPG series that will take you all back to classic style RPGs from the 16-bit era, from the Super Nintendo and the Genesis and whatnot. And that goes to Project Octopath Traveler from Square Enix. This is looking to be a very freaking awesome RPG game that kind of just goes back to their style of games from Final Fantasy 4 and 6 and 5, if you actually already play that, back on the Super Famicom / Super Nintendo. It was for us 2 and 3. And it's like these classic RPGs. If you played NES RPGs, Super Nintendo RPGs, if you played Genesis RPGs, if you played these classic RPGs with super fantasy worlds and cool art style and everything, it's that with some original things like being able to have every character, you can play as different characters, do different parts of the story, and every character has their own little ability they can do. Like the one lady can get the people to follow her, or you can challenge fighters with one character or something. And it just looks like it's going to be a really freaking awesome game. It's like take the old school RPGs, throw into an HD format, cool, vibrant colors and worlds and music and story and characters, classic RPG style in a modern day system, done by pretty much the kings of the JRPG, as much as Square has screwed up over the years. Quite frankly, Octopath Traveler, if you are a fan of RPGs, JRPGs, and especially old school JRPGs, this is something that should be on your radar most definitely. And those are my 5 games that you all should be looking forward to in 2018 alongside your Far Cry 5s and your Pokemons and your Red Deads and your WWEs and sports games and all the other stuff that's coming out next year. That is Bloodstained, Project Octopath Traveler, Psychonauts 2, the Spider-Man PS4 game, and what else did I miss? Did I say... What did I miss? Crap. Ni no Kuni 2. Put in the comment section what you guys think. What games are you particularly looking forward to in 2018? Your Switch games, your PS4 games, Xbox One games, PC games, handheld games. What are you all looking forward to? What do you think gamers should be looking forward to in 2018? What games do you think they should be keeping their eye on? Not just the big time games, but look for those little small games. What do you think gamers should be looking forward to? Put in the comments section what you guys think. What do you guys think of my list? My name is Snipers One Piece. Please subscribe if you want to. Have a lovely day and see you all later.